from the 1960s, both 1960s sports cars, but let's see how this works out, because we've got current superstar British touring car drivers who are fighting for the championship this year in very different cars, and yet fighting just as hard as we've seen them through the rest of the year at other British circuits.
Yeah, it's so close, so brave. He's going to try and get the switch back and have a look, sell Jake the dummy. Jake's wise, he's experienced. He says, no, not today. Thank you, Mr. Ingram, and lives to fight another day as they head through St. Mary's. 2 minutes left to go of this race. At the moment, Jake with the upper hand, but he's soaking up immense pressure. He's like a sponge, taking the pressure from Tom Ingram in the TVR. I'm having a look, have they got traffic? Not a lot of traffic ahead of them, so they have got clear space, and Tom is getting all out of shape on the exit of Lavin.
Oh my goodness, he's got a chance to get alongside this time. Tom Ingram is alongside, he's got in front. Can he stay in front? This is a place he could probably break a little later. But Jake Hill, this is where the car has a good little bit of pace. But is Jake going to be able to come back at him? You're on board with Jake Hill. Is he going to find a way down the inside into the chicane? No. He settles back, tries to get the good exit. It's out of this one that the Cobra is sometimes very rapid. But Tom Ingram has got the lead. We've got just over a minute to go.
And they're being led by Mark Shaw in the Lotus 21, as does Joe Colasacco in the Ferrari. Try and line up a move on Andy Willis's BRM. He's desperately trying to find a way, but leading them through the chicane first. That will be Mark Shaw, then really taking a much tighter line, and defending that is the Lotus 25 of Andy Middlehurst, but then that puts Ben Mitchell right on his back, and in tow, that puts again Joe Colasacco. Now side by side with Andy Willis, through on Andy Willis's BRM as the Ferrari makes up a space.
Answer me this question: who's the slowest car in this lead quintet? Yes, it's the race leader, but the others, because they're fighting with each other, are slightly delaying each other. But what have we got? We've got 1.7 seconds covering the top five, and then boy oh boy, Joe Colasacco, why have one place when you can gain two? And the Ferrari now up into third place, and Andy Willis back down to fifth. Ben Mitchell to fourth, so it's chopping and a changing, but Colasacco's coming forward.
The Ferrari, the 2018 winner, so knows what it's like to get that top spot now, sets its sights on the top two. The Lotus 25 ahead of Andy Middlehurst, and then still at the head of the field, Mark Shaw in the Lotus Climax 21, but he's not being able to escape, as out wide, indeed, goes Andy Willis in the BRM.
I talked about momentum, maybe had a little too much, but suddenly Mark Shaw's got Andy Middlehurst behind him, and the newer Lotus 25, look, this is the one that's a monocoque, the one at the front of the race. The Lotus 21 is a standard tube frame, so much more rigidity and therefore much better handling for the car that's giving chase. The car that Andy Middlehurst knows so well, and unfortunately looping around there, Charles McCabe's earlier BRM, that's the P57. He'll get it going. Can he get it back on the black stuff? Yes, he can. St Mary's strikes again.
Back onto the start-finish straight then, 9 minutes on the clock for the Glover Trophy after 4 laps completed with a red flag in the middle.
All racing beautifully. Andy Middlehurst, in theory, ought to pull away, but look at the punch and the pace that the Ferrari is coming up now. The big question is, will they catch back Marcus? Because the leading quintet are way quicker than some of the drivers at the tail of the field. And what Andy Middlehurst wants, okay, we're already going past one of the back markers already. That's a Darrington Francis, so that pulls out of the way. Hand up, nice acknowledgement to those chasing.
That the Nazis were beaten in France and throughout Europe, but that was the initial day of that incredible transfer. And of course tanks. Yes. Getting the tanks across was not easy either.
No, it wasn't. A lot of the tanks were lost. They obviously some of the landing craft couldn't get high enough up the beach, and they did lose a number of tanks. A lot of the landing craft were shelled by the Germans.
So it's just something to bear in mind for this battle over third. They could be joined in another 6 or so seconds by the likes of Fiskin's Galaxie behind.
Yeah, it could be. I think Chris Ward has spent more time going sideways, trying to dice the Jag Mark II around the track. Nick Swift's going to have a look, and Ben Coleman's almost willing him along, and he's got
Teamwork.
Back in front. Teamwork from the little minis. However, the Jag with that XK engine puts his foot down, and off it goes. Chris Ward was he had stuck his hand out the window there. I don't know if he was getting rid of something in the cockpit, but Nick Swift will have to try once again. A puff of smoke coming from the wheel of the 55 as it locks. It's all going into Woodcote corner. So you see Max Chilton has escaped. Nick Swift's having a look. No. Look at the wheel work that Nick Swift is doing in the Mini, but also Chris Ward as well. And has Ben Colburn got a problem? He's slowing down in the Mini behind, as I think he's just pulled into the pits, Harry. Yes, he has.
Such a shame.
Right, now it's Alex Brundle who has the front line to try and get away from Jake Hill, who was already putting him under massive pressure. And you can see the power of that AC Cobra as ever, the big American V8 engine in the front end of an AC Cobra. When you've got the grip that you can actually go to full throttle, it can be an advantage over the six-cylinder E-Type. So let's just see whether there is going to be an opportunity here. Defensive goes Alex, that's quite right. But round the outside, here's Jake's opportunity, does it? He goes round the outside. Jake Hill takes the lead in a car that started from the back of the grid.
Sensational, that is fantastic. I did say Alex Brundle will be hard to fence with the extra power that the Cobra has, and also the Cobra is better suited to dry conditions, which is near enough what we have at the moment. So great job though by Jake Hill. He now has clear track in front of him. We've still got some of the lapped cars you can see in the background there, the Chevrolet in amongst our front running cars, so the blue flags will be out to allow them through, but this is just the restart that Jake wanted, not so much for Alex Brundle.
Absolutely right, and the restart of course always allows for some more battles. This one's way down, this is down in 24th position in fact, but a race leader there, Jake Hill now ahead of Alex Brundle running in second. Dario Franchitti, number 79, the cream car.
The number 27 Norton Daytona Manx is disqualified for this race.
Yeah, and as we say, such a trick motorcycle as Russell just drives past him there. Just that little that bigger engine, that 640cc Bellaset engine, just giving him that little bit more. But that number 27 bike, a Jeff proper original Jeff Duke factory bike from 1952. Incredible to see that out and still going so strong. And looks like they're just coming up to lap the Triumph, the 1954 Triumph T110. So that's Ian Hutchinson, again another TT legend on that one, just in front of them. But Williams going back past now.
Another bike going very well is down in 5th place. It's the number 12 Norton International with Steve Brogan. May just come through. The checkered flag will be out next time around because 25 minutes now elapsed. Yeah. They keep on racing at the front of the races. Jeremy Williams on 27, the original white, 70 years old, and then how late they're going to break into Woodcote, keeping his nose in front just, but has he braked too late? Michael Rutter on tiptoes on the wet track.
Oh, look at that. Williams having a look up the inside as well as the last chicane. And Williams does get it, and he's just going to come through now. As they come out the last chicane, but Williams really wants to take this win, but he's going to be disqualified. He doesn't know that. Michael Rutter, is he going to drive into the line? They come to the line. He pulled out the slipstream, and Rutter gets it.
You can forget your 6.7 second aggregate. You just want victory in the second race.
Biskin has joined the battle, so that's going to allow Ward to maybe escape a little bit up the road. They've got another Jag Mark II they need to pass just in front. So lap traffic coming into play, the Jag indicating there to allow them. Nick Swift now decided to use I would call it the touring car style tactic. Turn on the lights, try and make a distraction, and Nick, he got ever so sideways, did Chris Ward, but again, he knows that this is the straight line, the Mini's going to have nothing. Those little Mini lights, like they're full blaze, and through, sails on in the Ford Galaxie V8 is Biskin, so this is going to be interesting now, because Chris Ward has got to deal with two cars, and Nick's trying to brave around the outside. He's going to be squeezed onto the grass at Woodcote, just about safe, just pulls it back on before our turning board there on the outside.
Oh, it is absolutely brilliant to watch this, isn't it? But Gregor Fiskin in that much mightier, much more powerful Galaxie, now trying to make a move down the inside of Chris Ward's Jaguar Mark II. He says, I've caught up to your battle, I've seen what I've seen, and I've decided to overtake both of you and let you get on with it again. So Biskin gets 2 positions in the space of, less than half a lap. The first was this against Nick Swift, who was really saying, no, I'm going to hang out for as long as possible.
Half that, so 1.2 seconds down, and he's faster than the race leader by half a second in the first part of the lap. So would it be the number 38 Cadillac powered HWM in the lead? Yes, but not by much, because you can see actually looking more settled is the Jaguar Park cars. Double waved yellows for the drivers as they exited St Mary's. So what is off Is that
Bill
just
Shepherd,
simply down
Bill
to Bill
Shepherd.
Shepherd? I was wondering if they were holding something off at Lavant. Talking of Lavant, we've done Lavant 1, Lavant 2, now it's the power down. Is it Cadillac Grunt or is it Jaguar Grunt that's going to win on the charge down towards Woodcote? But at the moment, it's Cadillac still, just Richard Woolmer in front.
Here we go, though, the battle for the lead, teetering up nicely. Jake Hill, who started on pole, initially with a good getaway, but then just losing out, coming through and out of Madwig. And in the end, Richard Woolmer having led so far. Still a long way to go in this race, just over 20 minutes time, but you can tell Woolmer is pushing, dips a wheel onto the grass, through the chicane, the rear steps out of him as well. And that was all the invitation Jake Hill needed to get his HWM Jag back into the lead of this race.
I must say, Richard Woolmer on the opening lap, and then again there, he doesn't have the grip, but he's prepared to push. But the Jaguar powered one, number 64, the HWM of Jake Hill in the lead. Look, early in this meeting, you would not have gone anywhere near the grass. It's been wet all since Thursday morning. And wet grass, as we know, is an accelerant, not a helping hand. But again, going wide on the exit of the chicane, Jake Hill didn't have to do much apart from nip to the left.
To the main straight, tucked in behind them, the Ferrari of Joe Calasacco, trying to get even a little bit of toe, but he's a bit further behind this time around, not able to try and attempt to move round the outside. He's got one more lap to do it.
And there are no back markers immediately ahead of them, so it's absolutely going to be clear from here to the end. Mark Shaw's nailed down third place. And in the background of the shot, you can see Ben Mitchell in the Lola, that's the one with the red nose, and being challenged and potentially passed by the orange nose BRN. Yes, through goes last year's winner, Andy Willis. So racing from first to last. Have we got any more overtaking manoeuvres in the book? I'm not sure we have, but Joe Calasacco faster through the middle part of St Mary's into the dip, up the other side of the compression. If he's going to move, he's got to make a move down the inside to Lavant, but he's only being shown the outside. What are his other options? There's no space into the chicane. That means he's got to do it either on the blast down the chicane or somehow, just somehow, on the run down to Woodcote. And we're getting towards that now. Through the Lavant Kings they go.
Only a few more corners then left for Joe Calasacco to try and find a way through. He's been following Andy Middlehurst all race long. He knows the lines, he knows the moves. That Lotus 25 takes a much tighter line going into the final chicane, which is just a couple of corners away. But time is running out for Joe Calasacco. He'll have one more realistic chance to do it. He's not going to be able to keep it cool, calm and collected out of the chicane. Can he get any kind of toe across the line? It's going to be nip and tuck, but it's going to go the way of the Lotus, which sees the checkered flag first in the Glover Trophy.
Off the line he goes, and it's a good start by Adrian Newey. He makes an absolutely brilliant getaway off the line.
He did. I wonder if that was a jump start, though, because we've seen some of that, some brilliant getaways get penalised yesterday, but he's heading down into turn one. The Cobras, the number 7, getting squeezed onto the car, onto the grass, but they're all safely through the first part of Madrig's corner.
Yeah, a really good start then by Adrian Newey. We'll look back at it, I'm sure, but it's all battling up behind him very closely. Safe Hassan, number 7, is being passed by the other Cobra, the TBR, just missing out a little bit as they come down through there. And it's Andrew Smith who's doing such a fantastic job in the cream AC Cobra. Andrew Smith has launched through. He started on the 3rd row of the grid in 6th place, and look at the lead he's taken already.
He was so brave. He was on the grass at one point, going up through Boardwater, heading through the first part of St Mary's. Now then, they'll swing it left, still jostling for position. The TBR of Mike Whitaker squeezed on the inside there, but already look at the lead from row 3. The Cobra of Andrew Smith has a good gap going into Lavant.
That's really impressive. We've seen how quick he can be. There's some good battles going on further back, some side-by-side action. You see Bobby Vernon Rowe in his silver, very distinctive AC Cobra. He's being a little cautious on these early laps, just not wanting to get into too much difficulty. Richard Kent in the number 88 E-Type, he's up there as well. But what a big lead this is for Andrew Smith, the car that's going to be shared with Dario Franchitti, a winner yesterday at the end of the day with Jimmy Johnson. Well, this is a very good start for the combination between Dario and Andrew Smith. Andrew getting off the line brilliantly well. Further down, there's some great little fights going on as well. The Porsche 904 being driven by Neil Yarni. That will be taken on by Chris Ward a little later. But the gap's going to be quite big, even across the line on the first lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I'm just trying to see, is that the 88 Jag E-Type that's come also from the way back row 4, the Brundle and Kent?
It's not even 2 car lengths now, but what's in front of our race leader, Jake Hill? 3 others, what's alongside him? Richard Woolmer, who is challenging from 2nd place. Who's going to guess right on the traffic? My money at the moment is on Woolmer. They're side by side. They're going either side of the C-type car number 11 of Ben Cousins, which has been enjoying such a good battle.
And then they'll get the Fraser-Nashes as well, as Woolmer has to take to the grass, bouncing over. They both make it past the Fraser-Nash. Of course, the surface might well be slippy from that incident earlier of Guy Harmon, but through then into the lead, making use of the traffic, Richard Woolmer, but Jake Hill is coming right back at him, but through the chicane then, now back into the lead of this race is the number 38 of Richard Woolmer, the HWM Cadillac, but side by side out of the chicane comes the power of the Jaguar, and it's a drag race to the line and a drag race to Magic, and on the inside I think Jake Hill's going to win that one out.
He certainly did. He had far better exit from the chicane because Richard Woolmer hung the tail out a little bit in his desperation to get onto the straight, couldn't put the Cadillac power down. Jake could put the Jaguar power down, so our pole sitter back into the lead of the race. Now take a look, how do you divide the traffic? The 2 Fraser-Nashes ahead, you go on the grass, you bounce up and down, because the front wheels came off the ground entirely, so that was a real rodeo ride for Richard Woolmer, and Jake Hill probably thought, well, I wanted to take the keep the lead of the race, but look at that head-on, amazing camera work, brilliantly caught by Richard Woolmer as he came back down to earth.
Of course, Willis has had, and here's our battle continuing. I was just about to say that John Spears has not been able to find a way past the number 43, or has he now? He's just clearing some traffic, just trying to have a look through the big puddle, big splash there.
He's got past the number 12, Rudy Fredericks. That was a good move. He's found just the right amount of grip. As you say, as the clock is ticking away, that is an opportunity now for John to gain another place. I don't think he's going to get back onto the podium because there's just a bit too much space up ahead. But let's see how far he can go.